Happy Self Love Sunday. I'm Attorney Shimo Sass, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I'm your certified vision strategist coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And last week, I talked to you about your perspective is your passport. And I meant that because the way you see your life determines the access that you have to it. But today, I want to go deeper because I was listening to something last week and it was one of the most truthful things I ever heard. And it came from a creator called Alex Hormozy. And I know Alex Hormozy wrote the book $100 Million Leads, I believe it was. And he was given this interview and he said, by the time they give support, you won't need it. When you need it, they won't get it. You won't get it. When he said it, I'm like, wait a minute. By the time they give me support, I won't need it. And when I need it, I won't get it. And I'm like, what is he talking about? So what he was talking about is he was building his business and, all along he was grinding and hustling and pushing and prodding. And he said no one really showed up. And now that he's like a multimillionaire, everybody's throwing everything at him for free. And it's kind of the same thing when we think about, the culture, right, of influencers and things like that and the rich, right? Well, they'll get all this free stuff showing up at their door. They don't even need it. And I get it. I already hear it now. I get it. It's because they'll wear something and people will buy it. But that's not the point of this. The point of this is while you're building, no one is coming. All that help that you desire and you're looking for from sponsors and things of that nature, it won't be there. And it really hit me hard because I know so many people are waiting for the applause to keep posting, to show up, waiting for validation before they move, waiting for support before they start. And then some people actually start and they'll be struggling in it a little bit. And because no one is showing up and because no one is supporting them the way they believe they should, they'll stop even building. And so the hardest part is doing the work when no one's clapping, believing in something that no one else can see but you. But here's the thing, like you have to be the one who cheers for you. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Because the truth of the matter is that most times you will have something great. You have what I call a God idea, something that really, really could take off. But what happens is because you don't believe you have the support that you think that you should have, then you don't keep going and you quit in the process and then you're starting over again and over again and you're feeling unfulfilled and you don't know what's happening or what's going on. And it's because you keep stopping and you're stopping because you're like, well, how am I going to keep going? And how am I going to do this? And how am I going to do that? And the truth of the matter is no one is coming to hand you the confidence that you need. No one is coming to push you into your purpose. You have to clap for you. Because if you wait for people to see you, you'll spend your lifetime trying to perform instead of becoming. And so what am I talking about, right? If you're waiting for somebody to see that you are author, then guess what? You'll spend most of the time writing and never publish the book. Or it's like if you're waiting for someone who believes that you're a speaker, you'll be sitting around waiting for somebody to say, "Oh my God, your voice sounds so amazing," instead of just working on booking those gigs or booking your own gigs or pulling up the camera and doing your own videos. It's about who you're becoming in the process. It's not about the applause. It's not about, writing a book. It's about becoming an author. It's not about speaking in public. It's about becoming an actual speaker. It's about who you're becoming. And there are going to be seasons where your growth is going to confuse people because this is why people don't show up. A lot of times we're upset with people about why they didn't show up. And it's because most people don't even know how to show up for themselves, let alone you. And so it's very confusing. It's like, what are you doing? Listen, I'm a Gen Xer, so I grew up in a time where it was like, just get a great job with good benefits. And, look, if you made six figures, what? That's great. What are you doing? What do you mean you want to be an entrepreneur? What do you mean you want to be a speaker? What do you mean you want to be an influencer or a content creator, right? What do you mean you want to be a streamer? That's confusing. And because they were taught, boomers who raised us, right? You go get a job with good benefits and you live happily ever after. Whatever that is. So we're looking for growth from people that are actually confused as to what in the heck are we doing and why are we doing it, right? And so there'll be moments where you'll also show up for other people and they won't show up for you. And then you're upset about it. And here's the thing. Why are you upset about the fact of you're showing up for people and they're not showing up for you, but you're showing up for them because they can't show up for themselves? Hear me. You're showing up for them because they can't show up for themselves. So you're coming to fill a need and fill a hole, which you really cannot do, instead of doing it for yourself. And there'll also be times where you're giving your all and nobody notices. Listen, I would love, I say it all the time. I come here, I do the YouTube channel. I've been doing this since 2017. Would I love to have a million people watching my videos? Of course. Who wouldn't? And here's the thing. It's not about that. It really isn't. And it's if sometimes you have to get to the point. It's not sometimes, you should be at the point where it's not about who notices. It's about who are you becoming in the process. How are you showing up? Are you getting better? Because I know that feeling, because I've been there. Always questioning, right? Am I doing enough? Does this even matter? Is this what God called me to? Is this really my purpose? Lord, if you told me to do it, you said the people will come and they're not here. What happened? Why does it feel like I'm doing everything right and nothing is changing? It's always, I'm on the latest platform. You said, faith without works is dead. I am out here working, okay? It's so interesting because what Alex Hormozy, and the reason why I started looking into him is because he started a new platform called School, SKOL. And before it was like people were on Kajabi, they were on Thinkific, and it's like now it's the latest and greatest thing. So it's like I'm doing the latest and greatest thing. I'm leaving the Facebook communities because I don't want to be on Zuckerberg anymore. Now I'm going over to school because I love Alex. I'm doing all the things, but yet no one is showing up. But here's what I need you to stop and remember. You're not doing this for the attention. You're doing this for the alignment and obedience. And this is where we're getting caught up at. You're not doing what you're doing for attention. You're doing it out of alignment of who you're being called to be in this season of your life and out of obedience to the God that you serve. I'm not here to tell you who your God should be or is. And this is why we're doing it. It's about purpose and fulfillment and alignment, not the attention. The applause is nice, but the alignment is what's going to sustain you. The obedience, the foundation with your God is going to be the thing that's going to sustain you. It's going to be the very thing that's going to help you take yourself to the next level. But if you keep looking around, looking for somebody to say, oh my God, you're so great, without saying listen, you have to turn around yourself and be like, I'm great. Or you have to check your heart posture. Why are you really doing it? Is it out of obedience? Is it out of alignment? Is it if it's about just the one person that it may help and change? If one person views this video, do you know I've won? Do you know you've won? I had to learn that sometimes people, even the people you expect for you, you won't. And it's not because they don't love you. I think we need to get away from that, because people around here cutting people off, not talking to people. It's not because they don't love you. Most times they just don't understand it. It's like, what the heck are you doing? My parents, you think when my brother so my brother is an entrepreneur. He's a consummate entrepreneur. Actually, he's phenomenal. He earns, he's just phenomenal. Okay. I don't want to get into my brother on this because I was about to say, oh, his businesses. Anyway, he's phenomenal. But my parents didn't understand that. They didn't come from entrepreneurship. They worked. They didn't get it. Now, my mother is going to get behind my brother. Okay, that's it. That's just going to happen. However, most times we're looking for people to get behind us that can't, because they don't understand it. It's like, why can't you just go get to the job and be satisfied with the money you making and live happily ever after? Because what happens is when you're called to lead, build, and create, your path will look unfamiliar to other people, to people who don't understand it, but they were never meant to. They can't clap for what they can't comprehend. They cannot clap for what they can't comprehend. And they can't comprehend why you, little old you who used to mess up, little old you who had all the trauma, little old you who had all the drama, little old you who they told wasn't going to be nothing. They can't understand why little old you is showing up in such a powerful way now. They don't get it. Little old you wants to be an author. Little old you wants to be a speaker. Little old you wants to be a coach. Little old you wants to have a business. Little old you wants to be an entrepreneur. Little old you wants to show up and help people. Little old you wants to be an influencer. Little old you wants to be a content creator. They don't understand that. They don't understand it, and they were not meant to. And so if you're in the middle of building something, your business, your brand, your next chapter, you're going to notice that it's going to get quiet because they don't understand. Let me tell you something. It's the truth. The text messages slowed down, the check-ins stopped, and people start to wonder. Then you're like, okay, where is everybody? And I'm going to give you a prime example. When I wrote my first book, Finding Your Way, right? It was dope because so many people was like, oh my God, and they bought the book. They showed up. And then When I went and wrote my second one, Designed to Win, not as many people showed up. Not as many people checked in. Not as many people was like, okay, like I'm going to support. And here's what I had to realize. The silence didn't mean that I was alone. It just means I'm in the season of development. It meant when it hit, it's going to hit. And when it hits, guess what? The books will sell. When it hit, guess what? Your YouTube channel is going to blow up. When it hits, guess what? Your products are going to sell. When it hits, guess what? You're going to be on all the stages that you desire to be on. When it hits, but the thing is, you can't quit until it hits. You can't quit because they're not clapping. You can't quit because they didn't buy the book. What you get to do is keep on becoming the best version of you. And so this is where you got to learn to fool yourself. And this is why I talk about also understanding why having that firm foundation and having a spiritual life. I'm not here to tell you who to believe in. Please know that I will never do that. I will never, ever. Whoever you call your God is fine with me. And what I'm saying to you is you got to start to build that foundation, and it gets to be strong, because that's going to be the very thing that's going to help to sustain you. It's going to be the very thing that gives you the confidence and everything you need to keep showing up in the rooms when nobody else is clapping or telling you you should be in there. There's a version of you that needs to wake up every day and say, I'm proud of me. Listen, if you showed up, you need to say, I'm proud of you. I'm becoming who I said I was going to become. I'm not quitting even though it's quiet. You can't quit in the process. And I'm talking to you. And listen, I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to you. And I'm going to tell you something else. It's easy to show up when it's 100 million. It's easy. It's harder when it's one. It's harder when it's one. Because the truth of the matter, people don't understand it, is growth is actually quiet before it's loud. When you plant a seed underground, right, before it breaks through the soil, it's in darkness. It's in darkness. But eventually it breaks through. Eventually it hits. And eventually there comes an apple, there comes a plum, there comes an orange, eventually it hits. The pumpkin, we're in pumpkin season, okay, for my Starbucks lovers. It hits. But if you quit in the dark, you will never see in the light. Listen, don't quit in the wilderness. Don't quit in the wilderness. And the truth be told, there is some help around. There is manna. A lot of times we can't see it. A lot of times we can't see it because we want it to come in a particular fashion and form. Because here's the thing. When I'm talking about impact, I want you to hear me for a second. I'm not just talking about changing the world. I'm talking about impacting yourself first. You have to give yourself everything you're trying to give everyone else. Maybe one of the reasons why it's not hitting is because you're so busy trying to help and be there for everybody else. Let me tell you, I just told her, I had a friend who asked me to help him with a prototype. And I'm like, yup, I got you. And guess what? It's not going to come before I do what I need to do for my retreats. I do what I need to do for my content. I do what I need to do for my business first. Because what I realized is you have to pour into yourself the way you pour into others. That applause you want from everybody else, you got to give it to yourself first. The same way you push your kids, the same way you push your team, the same way you push your peers, the same way you push your friends, the same way you push your clients, you got to do it for yourself, because you can't build a legacy from an empty well. You can't do it. You have to turn around and give it to yourself. And before you want to impact the world, you got to impact your mind. You got to impact your body. You got to impact your spirit. You have to get up in the morning with your routine that says, you know what? I'm going to take care of me first. I'm going to love on me first. I'm going to give myself what I need. I'm going to check in with myself. I'm going to give myself what am I feeling today? What do I need to hear today? You have to give it to yourself. You have to lead yourself before you can lead anybody else, before you can lead your children, your friend, the people on your job. You have to lead yourself. And here's the thing, before you ask for support, you have to become your own foundation. How do I become my own foundation? I get in alignment with whoever the God that I serve is, and start to fill in those cracks in the foundation. Fill up the crack of self-love. Fill up the crack of confidence. Fill up the crack of knowing that all things are possible to him that believes. And start to believe. But I have to fill up the crack in the foundation so that I can believe. The real work, listen, that's the real work. That's where real growth happens, when you start to fill in that foundation and fill in that crack. So this week, I need you to stop waiting for applause from everybody else. Get in alignment. Understand what season you're in. It may not be hitting because you're trying to, reap harvest when you should be planting the seeds and watering the seed. You have to know what season you're in. And if you're unsure of that, let me tell you something. This is where leaders get other leaders to help them. But you got to start cheering for yourself. When it looks like nobody else is clapping, I need you to clap. I need you to wake up in the morning and say, I could be, do, or have anything that I desire. I need you to get up and say, I can do all things. I can do all things through the God, the Christ, the Jesus, the Buddha, the Allah, whoever that strengthens you. Who strengthens you? Because you need it. You're not meant to do life alone. And it starts with the foundation, because here's what'll happen. You'll lean so much on your supporters that you'll start bleeding them. And that's why they're also may be running. That's why they also may not be showing up. But that's another conversation for another day. And that's when we have to get really real with some things. And you have to start validating your own voice. Listen, in my book, Finding Your Way, 7 Ways to Love You, Hear Yourself, I talked about affirming and reaffirming yourself. I am worthy, and then turn around in the mirror and looking at yourself dead on. You are worthy. You got to speak life into yourself. If nobody else is showing up, if nobody else is coming, you got to speak to yourself. You got to encourage yourself. That's an old church song. You got to clap every time you show up. Listen, yesterday I had my quarterly goal setting call with my community, and I woke up that morning. I wasn't feeling good. My head was hurting, everything. And guess what? I still got on that call. I gave it everything I had. By the time I finished, I did feel a little bit better because I was in my purpose. But here's the thing. I had to applaud myself. You still showed up. You wasn't feeling, and I gave them everything. You got to applaud for yourself. If you wrote the book, clap for yourself. If you show up and do your content, clap for yourself, because there is some people who are not. They're sitting around criticizing and looking to say, oh my God, she only got one like. Why is she still doing it? Don't worry about them. And that's the other thing. We'll worry about that one negative comment instead of worrying about the fact that you showed up and you did it. When a person putting that negative comment is not showing up doing anything but being negative and because their life is miserable. And the truth, here's another truth I need you to understand. By the time that they know, if you do this, if you clap for yourself, if you show up for yourself, if you pour into yourself and you don't quit in the process, and even when it's dark, you keep going, by the time that they notice, you'll already be where you're supposed to have been all along. It's all about who are you becoming in the process? Who are you becoming in the process? Why I keep showing up is because I made a promise to God that I would speak his words, and I continue to do that. It's about my alignments and my alignment and my obedience. It was never about how many people was going to view the video. It was about me showing, God, you can trust me with this. You can trust me with the little, so that when the big comes, he already knows. Why? Because I stood 10 toes down when nobody was showing up. I stood 10 toes down in alignment with God, because I said, God, people get to understand that you are lit. Life with Jesus is straight lit. Do you understand me? The abundance of love, happiness, and joy that I get to experience. And now, does that mean that life isn't life? Absolutely not. Does it mean that stuff doesn't happen? Absolutely not. It happens, but guess what? I understand who's in the boat, so there's peace in all of the storms that's happening, and I'm still rocking out. So I need you to hear me that you don't need permission, you don't need proof. You don't need to remember that. Here's the thing. You just need to remember. I'm sorry, guys. I'm excited. You just need to remember that everything you're trying to give to the world, you got to give to yourself first. That's what true self-love looks like. I'm going to fill my cup up. I'm going to do my thing. And then guess what? When I finish with that, I'm going to help you, and you. I'm the oldest girl. I'm the most responsible girl. I'm going to continue to keep my role. And what I realize is how I'm able to fulfill that role to my best, to be the best mom, to be the best friend, to be the best daughter, to be the best cousin, because I'm a good cousin, okay? To be the best auntie, is I had to give it to me. I had to show it for me. That's what leadership is. To be a servant leader, you have to serve from a full cup. That's the best leader. But how do they serve from a full cup? They fill their cup up. They fill their foundation up. They take care of them. That's what winning feels like. So I'm going to tell you all week long, I'm going to need you to clap for you. Look at me pointing. I'm going to need you to clap for you. I'm going to need you to drive you. I'm going to need you to show up for you. Don't wait for them to show up for you. You show up for you. And when you finish, just like when I get finished with this video, I'm going to say, girl, you did that. You showed up again. No, there's not 100 million. There may be the one, or there may be the none. But what I did was I kept my promises to God. Because no one is going to give you more than you give yourself. No one is going to love you more than you love you. No one is going to support you more than you support you. No one is going to believe in you more than you believe in you. You got to give it to yourself. And I know it feels hard. You're talking to somebody who lives it. I know it feels hard some days. But you have to know you can do it. And Father God, I just pray that whoever is watching this, Lord, you help them to know that they can do all things. To them who believe, and they just need to start to believe that all things are possible. All things that are possible through Christ, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, whomever that you call on, that strengthens you. All things. He didn't say some, all are possible. All are possible. I believe that, and that's the magic of thinking big. You need to be thinking big. But you need to be thinking big and not quit in the process. And when the women tell you something, when you're a big thinker around small thinkers, they're gonna think you crazy and they're not gonna show up. But you get to show up. You get to be trusted with a little. You have to do well and steward the period before the comma can come. I need you to hear me. You have to show up and steward well with the period for the comma can come. That's all I have for you today. I hope you have the most amazing, amazing, amazing Sunday. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye now.